And you have to realize I knew them and they knew me for 4 years before Leslie and I got married.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And everybody made jokes about it. Well, when are you going to make an honest woman out of her?
Yeah,
well, I didn't
I
have a
got sick
job.
of that.
I was in graduate school, and
Right.
and Leslie didn't have a job, and Leslie was finishing her undergraduate degree. And so, anyhow, it wasn't exactly a shotgun wedding or anything like that.
Yeah.
No surprise to anybody, either side of the family. Well, anyhow, Marion's interest in literature, and particularly her interest she was really interested in theater.
Yeah.
And
well, because of her dad, right? Because of Herbert.
Yeah.
Well, probably, but maybe.
She said she told me a story once about Herbert Carlton, her father, starting a theater. I think in Mississippi.
Yeah, but that was movie theaters. This is.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about legitimate theater.
Yeah.
And I was interested in theater too. I never told
They
you.
did vaudeville too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did vaudeville.
They did vaudeville.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, they did.
And so, I have never told you this, but when I first started thinking myself, well, not even thinking myself as a writer, just writing, just to try things out. When I was maybe my junior, but certainly during my senior year of college, I wrote some plays. I wrote quite a few of them, and it taught me a lot about structure and manipulating language, but also making characters say things that you wanted them to say. And that was pretty neat. And even though it's an obvious thing, but when you start doing it, it changes your appreciation of language and so forth. And I was also writing poetry.
Yeah.
But so I could relate to Marion. Marion wrote some plays. She had one produced on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
Or off Broadway, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. But she was seriously into the plays, but also into the mythological background. I use the backstory of drama. She was interested in the religious. For example, we all know that Greek tragedy grew out of rituals that had to do with the god of wine and excess, Bacchus. Well, that's his Roman name. Dionysius is his Roman name. Bacchus is his Greek name.
No,
In fact, I got it the other way around.
Yeah.
My brain is. It's been on like 10 watts. I should be putting out 120 watts. I'm putting out 10.
Yeah, well, you guys have been through the ringer.
Oh, God, have we? But anyhow, I know my brain's really not working very well. I'm glad I'm not giving a speech today. The fact is that a lot of the first plays were actually ritual reenactments.
Yeah.
And also the first English plays were ritual reenactments of Christian narratives and also Old Testament stories like the flood. Noah and the flood was a very popular play. Hi guys, hello. Okay, so anyhow, Mary, and we used to have some very good conversations about that. Plus, she just read a lot.
Well, I remember she had masks all over her wall.
Yeah,
you guys gave me a few of those.
Yeah, I gave you some, but I also gave her the mask. You wound up getting them sort of secondhand.
I don't think I got that one back though. I don't know what happened to the African one. Oh wait, you got that back.
I got it back.
Yeah, okay.
It's hanging in our dining room. It's a huge mother. Anyhow, so she would also, and I was reading a lot of novels during this time. I was, I just got my master's degree, and I was thinking about, I'm not thinking about it. I wanted to finish my PhD, but the Vietnam War was going on, and I thought for sure that I was going to, in fact, I knew that they were about to draft me. And I had dropped out of the University of Wisconsin because I just couldn't follow. I was like a lot of guys my age, you were wondering, do I go to Canada? Do I go to Vietnam and get shot? Do I stay and just, hope for the luck of the draw? But my draft board had already told me that I was in the next batch that was going to be called up.
Wow.
So, and my parents knew this too.
What do you do in a situation like that?
Well, go over
Yeah.
the border and live
Yeah.
somewhere else.
You know, there's not much you can do. I mean, and anyhow, I
Go
read
to war
one
and
of
get
Saul
shot
Bellow.
at, or
Saul Bellow, by the way,
Hope
is
for the
Brian
best.
Mims' favorite novelist, Gail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but anyhow, he's got one of his very first books, a short little novel called Dangling Man. And it was about a guy in a similar predicament by being drafted, for World War II rather than for Vietnam War. And I also read Joseph Heller's Catch-22,
Yeah, I read that.
which, again, wasn't the best thing
Yeah.
for me to be reading, considering the fact that I may be involved, but I could relate to the Catch-22 part very well.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I read during that period,
You're okay.
I don't trust
Just
these people.
standard New Orleans
Yeah,
drivers.
but that's why I don't trust it.
yeah.
But anyhow, I also took my time and read James Joyce's Ulysses. And so I was, and we talk about that. She was very interested in Irish, anything Celtic.
Yeah, because that was her
Yeah.
heritage.
Yeah,
She
that
was
was her,
Irish.
yeah, exactly.
She was. I found a card when I was living at your place of her membership in a Highlander Throth, I think it was called, like a Highlander group, and there's a specific name for it. I posted it on Facebook actually, but yeah, that was absolutely her heritage.
And then she knew that I was writing poetry, and it was. I don't think I had published anything at this point, but I was about to start publishing a few things, and we would occasionally talk, but not have real artsy, puffed up conversations, but we'd talk about books that we were reading, or I'd see she was reading something, or I'd look at books, and she also had a library with a lot of classic books on it that I had read or studied, a few that I had. Even John, had read some things when he was in college and would quote things.
Yeah.
So there was a certain literary.
Yeah, where did John go to school?
Tulane.
Tulane.
I think he went there as an undergraduate and for medical school.
And my
Yeah.
mother went to Newcomb.
And your mom went to
Yeah,
Newcomb.
and then so I wound up in Tulane, and Leslie wound up in Newcomb. So there was a lot. That was another bond between
A
us.
connection, yeah.
Yeah.
And-
And you said you went fishing with John.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
I was getting to that. Probably my favorite memories of John, and I shouldn't say this was before Zoe married Gippy, because once Zoe married Gippy, John soured on all the in-laws. I was just
Yeah, basically,
it
they're all
was like night
bums.
and day.
Yeah.
Suddenly I was a bad guy just because Gippy had treated Zoe like dirt, and so he just assumed.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
what happened with her
Well,
first
I don't
husband?
Know. I don't know what happened about the specifics. All I know
No.
is that
Gibson.
with
yeah.
Gibson, but I do know
Senior. Yeah. He died.
that. Oh, yeah, but that
no,
was later.
I
Leslie.
didn't.
Yeah.
I only found out about that recently. Yeah, he died. I think in the last few years.
Yeah, that's like 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that exit was still there, so I'm going the old way. This part of the city always floods, Gail, during
Yeah.
periods. Anyhow, I've always wanted to eat here. This place has been here for like 60, 70 years.
Gennaro's?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be good, family-owned Italian place. Anyhow, John was really into fishing at this point, and I'm talking about deep sea fishing, going out into the Gulf of Mexico, 10, 15, 20 miles out into the Gulf. And he had a boat, a little boat that he bought. It was like, if you know what a Chris Craft looks like, it was just big enough to have a cabin where two people could, maybe two for sure, could sleep overnight. It had little bunks in it. And it was a nice little boat. And he had some big engines on it. So the thing would really move. And you needed that when you got out in the Gulf, because you could have swells 7, 8 feet tall. I remember the first time we went out in the Gulf, I nearly threw up because the thing was just would ride these waves and then boom, come down. Oh shit, we're in glass. God damn it.
You okay?
Yeah, I think we are, but we went right into some, and that's some kid that broke that deliberately.
Yeah,
That was,
that's
God,
unfortunate.
I hate that. If I
Well, it
get a
could've been-
flat, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, it could have been a wreck too. Yeah,
No,
may not
I
have
think
been.
that was broken. I think that wasn't a wreck. It'd be all over the place if it was a wreck. Anyhow, with that little punctuation mark,
Yeah.
this was during this period when I was waiting to be drafted, and I would spend quite a bit of time over there. I used to pull up the easy chair by the swimming pool and read novels all day. And so John kind of drafted me into fishing with him, being a fishing partner. And he actually, one time I was there sitting reading a book, and he came home and said, "We're going fishing tomorrow," and he handed me a brand new fishing rod that he had bought for me.
Oh.
So he had a generous side,
Yeah.
and so did Marion. They also had a side that you couldn't really believe what they were saying.
I know.
They promised
It was like-
me and Leslie for years that they were going to take us on a vacation with them to Europe or some exotic spot. I mean, for years. Never happened. But anyhow, but in a strange way, I think they actually meant it. They were so drunk so many times and so pickled,
Yeah.
they were addle-brained at a certain point, so I'm not sure they remembered all this. But anyhow, John and I, we had some very, very pleasant bonding experiences. You probably told you this story many, many times, but one time, it was kind of my favorite fishing experience. It's my big fishing moment. We went out to the Gulf of Mexico, as far out as the oil rigs. And it was a good place to fish because all sorts of algae grows on the bottoms of the oil.
I'm sorry, Mom. Would you mind turning down the AC a little? Thanks.
All sorts of algae grows on the platform, the foundation of the platform.
Right.
Supports, and the fish come and eat that algae. Anyhow, we didn't know it. We just anchored there. The anchor wouldn't touch bottom, of course. We just threw the anchor to slow the boat down. Turns out we were in the middle of a huge school of speckled trout. And for about 15 minutes, Gail, it was like being in heaven. You could just, without even a shrimp on your line, you could just throw your line in the water and a fish would bite on it. It was incredible. And we had two big igloo ice chests. And we...
You know what? I wonder. Well, never mind. I don't want to interrupt.
We filled them up with fish in about 15 minutes. And we didn't catch another thing for the whole day.
Wow.
But that night, we had a magnificent fish fry. We were all dead tired and out there fishing out in the sun, sunburned. It was probably in the late, about this time of the year, maybe a little bit earlier. Oh, wait a minute. I effed up.
It's the Winn-Dixie.
What are you talking about?
Oh,
Anyhow,
using that as
but
a-
anyhow, we had a
Landmark.
fish fry and beer feast that night. I remember Leslie came back. She was still at Newcomb. I think it was her senior year. She came back, and Marion came back. She wasn't home. I know. And we all ate that. Maybe Florence and Hugh came over too. We had a lot of fish. We had a lot of fish. But that was really a memorable day. It was just and we went out several other times where I began to get an appreciation of the marshes, and I have screwed up somehow.
Yeah, you did.
I think they changed things. There used to be a.
Well, it's okay.
the turnoff.
Yeah.
Well, he was kind of in the middle of the story.
Yeah, I was in the middle of the story. Gail's got me doing this. It's caused me to make 2 driving errors thus far. But,
Oh, sure. Blame me and the camera.
That's right. I'm blaming you and the camera. And you know that multitasking is not as efficient as
No,
people
I
think it
do
is.
actually. There is some research behind that.
I think we've emailed one another
about that very thing. Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And when you get to be my age, Gail, I'll start something and then leave it in the one room, go to another room, and I'll come back
Well,
and say,
I think that's just a human thing.
yeah, well, seems like I do it more than I used to. But anyhow, we would go into the marshes sometimes, some beautiful areas, you know. Well, a lot of those places we went are gone now, you know, because
what I was going to interrupt you with, is the thought that a lot of that, including the schools of fish,
yeah.
may not exist anymore.
Well, the fish, maybe they're still there, but maybe not as numerous. I think you're
Yeah.
absolutely right about that. But I know there'll be a lot of people here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it being Mother's Day.
Lilies.
Yep.
Section D.
I know. I'm looking at that guy. It looks kind of like he's riding a golf cart. I know Greenfather loved to golf too.
Yeah, and he wanted
Yeah.
me to, you know, I've never been a golfer. I don't want to be a golfer. And Dr. Dow's has tried to get me interested in golfing
Yeah.
also, yeah. And, you
It
know,
probably is very soothing.
well, yeah, it's a nice exercise for the golf ball, but I just as soon go swimming. Okay, end of story.
All right. Well,